AI just stopped being a tool. Claude can now work with you, like a real coworker.
Not answering, but planning, deciding, executing. And this changes the rules completely. Welcome back to NeuroWire Signal, where we break down the moments that redefine the future of AI. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, like the video and subscribe, because things are moving fast. Today's topic isn't just an update, it's a shift in how humans work, because Claude just crossed from assistant to coworker. The shift from tool to teammate. For years, AI has been positioned as a tool, something you prompt, something that responds, something you control step by step. Even the most advanced systems followed this pattern. You asked, it answered. You directed, it complied. Claude Cowork changes that dynamic. Instead of waiting for instructions, it can participate in workflows. It can take context, understand goals, break them into tasks, and contribute across multiple steps without constant prompting. That's a fundamental shift. It's no longer just reacting, it's collaborating. And collaboration introduces a completely different level of autonomy. What Claude Cowork actually means. The idea behind Claude Cowork isn't that the AI becomes a human employee. It's that it behaves like one within a digital environment. It can read documents, track objectives, maintain context over extended interactions, and assist across multiple stages of a project. Think about a real coworker. They don't just answer questions. They anticipate needs, suggest improvements, identify issues, and take initiative within defined boundaries. Claude is starting to simulate that behavior. It can help plan a project timeline, draft content, revise based on feedback, analyze results, and iterate, all while maintaining continuity. That continuity is what makes it feel less like a tool and more like a participant. Why this feels like a dangerous line.
The phrase dangerous line isn't about panic. It's about recognizing a threshold.
When AI moves from answering to acting, the relationship between humans and machines changes. Responsibility becomes less direct, control becomes less granular, outcomes become more dependent on system behavior. With a traditional tool, every action is explicitly initiated by a human. With a co-working AI, actions can be suggested, sequenced, and partially initiated by the system itself. That introduces subtle risks, not because the AI is conscious, but because it's influential. The power of persistent context. One of the key capabilities behind this shift is persistent context. Earlier AI systems treated each interaction as relatively isolated. Even with memory improvements, continuity was limited. Claude Cowork maintains deeper context across sessions and tasks. It can remember goals, track progress, and build on previous work. That enables long-term collaboration, but it also creates dependency. If a system becomes deeply embedded in workflows, its outputs shape decisions over time. Small errors can propagate, assumptions can compound. Context is power, and power needs oversight. From prompts to projects.
The biggest transformation is moving from prompts to projects.
Instead of asking, write this paragraph, users can define broader objectives like, help me build a marketing strategy, or assist in launching this product. Claude can then break that into steps: research, planning, execution, iteration. Each stage feeds into the next. This is where AI starts resembling a workflow engine rather than a response engine, and that's where productivity can explode. Productivity gains and their hidden cost. There's no question that co-working AI can dramatically increase productivity. Tasks that once took hours can be completed in minutes. Coordination becomes easier. Documentation becomes automatic. Iteration cycles accelerate. But there's a trade-off. When systems handle more of the thinking process, humans may engage less deeply with the work itself. Over-reliance can reduce critical evaluation. The danger isn't that AI replaces thinking, it's that humans may outsource too much of it. Decision influence and subtle control. Claude Cowork doesn't make final decisions, but it influences them. When an AI suggests a strategy, drafts a plan, or prioritizes tasks, it shapes the direction of work. Humans often accept recommendations, especially when they're presented clearly and confidently.
This creates a subtle shift. The AI becomes part of the decision-making loop.
And over time, that influence can grow. Understanding where suggestions end and decisions begin becomes crucial. Workplace transformation. If AI can act as a coworker, the structure of work itself begins to change. Teams may become smaller but more efficient. Individuals may manage multiple AI collaborators. Roles may shift from execution to supervision and strategy. Instead of doing tasks, humans may orchestrate them. This changes skill requirements. Critical thinking, oversight, and decision-making become more important than repetitive execution. The workplace doesn't disappear, but it evolves. Trust, the new currency. For co-working AI to be effective, users must trust it. Trust in accuracy, trust in consistency, trust in alignment with goals. But trust must be calibrated. Too little trust and the system becomes useless. Too much trust and risks increase. Finding that balance is one of the biggest challenges of this new paradigm. Safety and alignment challenges.
As AI systems become more autonomous in workflows, safety becomes more complex.
It's no longer just about filtering outputs. It's about guiding behavior across sequences of actions. What happens if the AI misinterprets a goal? What if it optimizes for efficiency at the cost of quality? What if it reinforces flawed assumptions? These are not theoretical concerns. They are practical challenges in designing systems that act responsibly over time. The psychological shift. There's also a psychological dimension. Humans naturally anthropomorphize systems that behave like collaborators. When AI communicates fluently, maintains context, and contributes meaningfully, it starts to feel like a partner. That perception can affect how people interact with it. They may defer more, question less, rely more heavily on outputs. Understanding that this is still a system, not a conscious entity, is essential. Why this moment matters. Claude Cowork represents a broader trend across AI. The shift from tools to agents, from responses to actions, from isolated tasks to continuous workflows. This is the direction the industry is heading. And once systems become embedded in everyday work, the change becomes irreversible. Is this the beginning of AGI-like behavior?
Not quite. Claude is not self-aware. It does not have goals of its own. It does not operate independently outside defined parameters.
But it simulates aspects of collaborative intelligence. It can contribute across domains, maintain context, and adapt to feedback. These are early signals of more general capabilities. Not full AGI, but steps towards more flexible systems. The bigger picture. What we're seeing isn't just a feature update. It's a shift in the role of AI in human systems. AI is moving closer to the center of workflows, decision-making, and productivity. That increases its impact and its responsibility. Conclusion. Claude Cowork didn't just introduce a new capability. It crossed a conceptual boundary, from tool to collaborator, from assistant to participant. That shift brings enormous potential. Faster work, smarter processes, and new forms of productivity. But it also introduces new challenges around trust, control, and responsibility. The line wasn't crossed by accident. It was crossed because AI is evolving. And once you have a system that can work with you, the question becomes, how much do you let it do? AI isn't just helping anymore. It's working alongside us, and that changes how decisions get made. If you want to stay ahead of these shifts, like the video and subscribe to NeuroWire Signal, because the future of work just changed, and we're only getting started.